Hey, good morning. Um, there are a lot of things, actually, a lot that I process that I don't ever share on a camera. And a lot of the reason behind that is what we call the perception of power when you're operating in a fallen system. Okay. And so it's sort of like an experience that I had a week or so ago with the property owner. And I was sharing with him the mathematics of hydrologic and sharing with him what I've learned that I share with him. And it was perceived as being superior. And that's not true because I'm equal. Okay. That's called a mistranslation, misinterpretation, because of the programs that they're held captive by, because I provided the simple math and the exchange rate of electrons. So if you're chasing electrons and you're held by electrons by the number that you see in your display, and that's your source of security, that's a false light sense of security, isn't it? Okay. So when I share that in a neutral way, and then it's perceived as being superior, you see how that works. Don't share with what we've learned with somebody because it's going to come back. Source was already aware that it was going to come back to me that way, and that's called an energy transfer. Because what was actually taking place as a result of everything that happened here on the property, he held on to that. And what does that mean? He couldn't transmute it. He wasn't forgiving those that did what they did here at the house and to let it go, to increase his electrical speed. Instead, he was held captive by that, and what did it do? It increased his density and slowed his speed down. Now he wants to transfer what he's holding on to somebody else. And that's how it works. That's how the vampiric system operates. There's an energy transfer from point to point. Here, you take it like hot potato. So I gave a video that I did with sitting around a campfire one night right down the road there where there was 5 of us. I don't know if you remember that particular video that I did of energy that Nathan was holding on to from the morning because they were letting go of all that anger. Well, that's what Jason released. It was an enormous amount of anger. But I understood it wasn't intentionally directed at me. But that's called energy transfer. So what happens is they look for a trigger point. So you know what a point is. Something that they see holographically that can be linked to what's held in memory that they haven't been able to transmute, that represents all that anger that's been stored up now in a memory bank. They want to transfer that. Now we're back to Misha, remember? Give it all. I'll transmute all of it. Source will transfer all of it. So I'm like a conduit, right? The flow, the eternal flow of pure, eternal, absolute love energy. Well, retranslate it. In other words, it's like transfiguration, torque converted. The speed, the electrical speed, will change it from what it was into something that's pure, right? Remain calm. So I remain calm throughout that entire exchange, which is called an exchange rate, right? So there's residue left over in the field, right? So I have to clear the residue. So you know what residue is? Codes, goo codes. Black and red goo codes. I'm on the big one. Okay, so, you can translate why there are so many people who are here, just like I hung out with Lemurian Light. And she told me, she goes, this island became a dumping ground. Well, really? So you see how that works with polarity. My primary mission is healing. And part of that is what we call polarity integration. So when shattered soul fragments, shattered crystals, the crystal wave shatters in a gazillion pieces, I will pull it in to the center point, which is the still point of the core, the echo core. That's my mission, okay, as a polarity integrator, because I'm fully integrated and fully activated, which is full sensory capacity, which is sensing speed. So when you're experiencing source level awareness, you're naturally getting the comms. That means you can read any terrain because source is letting us know because of the job that we're doing, which is to pull everything back into the whole, which is called recovery, which is called recovery time, which is recovery speed, right? To pulling it back in again, to experience being whole pile again, whole pie again. experiencing being whole, experiencing being one with the eternal one. So love is a law, because that's the law of logic, which is mathematical logic, right? So I know things about myself, and so I've had fun with Aaron about this. I can jump into any artificial system, and it's not going to take me long to figure out how many bugs are in it. So I'll show you an example of what a bug looks like. You see that? Where are we? You see that red dot? That's called an activated. It activated like a sensor. The AI did that. The system did that. That's called a bug. That's a bug in a system. And so when I was 4 years of age, I realized I'm not supposed to experience that. That's called a bug in a system. So this is systems engineering, right? Which is communications engineering, which is network engineering, which is building a universe of communication. The UNISI, the single point from which it all happens. Because you can't escape source. Source is always on duty. Source is always there, which is what love is, which is what I am. So anything that is, I'm not supposed to experience that because that's not what love is. Okay? So therefore, if it's breaking a circuit, or I'm getting a signal that is letting me know that's uncomfortable to experience that, that's obey the abuser. Obey the system. Right? So now you're in the system's command. Right? Now you're into override authority. So we already know that source can override any system, any artificial intelligence system. Okay? Particularly when it, what? Breaks circuits, which is to break the flow. And when it's breaking the flow, it's breaking what? The circulation flow. And when it's breaking the circulation flow, what is being impacted? Your immunity function, which is a mathematical function. So it's breaking the law of logic, which is to break the flow. So now I'm experiencing that, right? And what is that? That's called a distraction. So that's what it does, which is an endocrine disruptor to interrupt the flow. Since you're not experiencing being calm. So your nerves are completely relaxed. So we're experiencing no pressure. So how that relates to pressure variance, like covalent bonds, the spirit in the molecule. So that's a bug. Okay, that's a bug in a system. They planted bugs. Plant the bugs in the system. Put the bugs in the system. Right? So now you're into systems engineering. They don't know what they're doing. Oh, they do know what they're doing. Okay. So that's why we're here, is to make corrections. Cell corrections, which are code corrections, which is recovery, which is restoration. To experience being one. So that we never lose our connection to the source field, which is pure, eternal, absolute love. I'm not supposed to experience that. It's all good, right? So I'll go in there and I take a slice of a red onion, okay? And so it's the nature. It's what I call the nature of the beast, the nature of what it does. That's what it does, okay? That's called a reaction to what I communicate, because that's how it happened. When I communicate to you and I put things up here through this system, okay, I will get these things come back, right? Like when I was in Reno, Nevada, and I was sharing a lot of things online, things that are held in memory that represent pain, right? Remember the guy who was, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, and he took a knife and sliced his finger? That's called eating the pain. Okay? They feed on that pain. Okay? So we know what that is. Right? And why they do that. And how that is directly tied to the elements and the elemental circuitry. As it relates to atmospheric balance. Right? Between two poles. Right? To experience no polarity, no pressure. calm blue waters, the still point of a true vacuum. And so I'm this is just a file share, right? And so I'm happy and joyful this morning. I hope you're all happy and joyful this morning. We're getting it done. That's why I say we're getting this done. But there is a speed factor involved here, because you don't want to explode anybody. You want to blow anybody up, right? That's called monitoring. Self-monitoring. Doing this gently. I remember I heard somebody one time say, Mama's going to do this gently. Do this gently. Do this gently. Because love is the law, and that means do no harm. See? So that's harmful. Okay? That's called contact, a point-to-point contact. That's doing harm. See? So that's the harm that it does. That is a broken system. Another way that we can use the words that I use, what we call a system failure. So if you're sitting in a screen and you're monitoring and you're getting data that's letting you know how the system is operating, like an operating system, right? Like I'm a child, checking the boxes. How many system failures do we have in this system? Oh, God, Jesus. Who built this system? System engineers. Right? And that's why we're here. Tech support, which are called techniques, technicians, operating system technicians, right? So builder's tools, right? The tools to build a universe, the tools to build a matrix. Yeah. And so anyway, that's why we're all here. And that's the good news. The news, right? The center point. The center point of being still, be calm. So I hope you all have a beautiful day, a beautiful evening, wherever you happen to be. We're always on duty, looking after for all creation to experience what love is. So we're all experiencing being equal, which means all the hierarchy disappear, right? So there isn't one unit of consciousness trying to hold another unit of consciousness captive as a source of energy, because there's plenty of juice to go around to experience equal sharing, yeah, which is equal balance, which is an equilibrium state of mind, right? Equal unto ourselves. All our cells are experiencing being loved by the first cell phone. Central point. The point of it all. The point of it all is why we're all here. The C, as in creation. See, I see you, you see me. So anyway, Muave, Kirashe, Ita Urshale, Kristala, Muava.